go on because I'm. Hi everyone. Don't know if anyone's got any people watching. I cannot for the life of me remember how to find out if we've got people watching yet, but yeah, there's no one up in the corner. But anyway, anyone who's watching this on record or anyone who's watching it there, this is the Spoonies Live, and we got some guest hosts today. We have got Kat from Brews and Reviews. We've got Olivia from Olivia's Catastrophe and the amazing Simi. We're all here, and yeah, I don't know when people are going to come on, but this is the sort of general. We're doing this to sort of share the Spoonies love and talk about disability, not just in books, but in life and how it affects us all and just in general. So, yeah, as always, we've got 4 people in, so just whoever's here, hi, nice to see you. Hope you enjoy what we're going to chat. So how's everyone's readathon going so far?
Not as good as I want it to have been going, but...
It's Angela. Hi, Angela. Angela. So, what have you read yet, Kat? Because you're the co-host. What have you read?
So I've read...
Wow. I still get found with Katie.
I've read A Kind of Spark by Elle McNichol, and then I'm halfway through Mooncakes. And I don't remember what that's by, but yeah. So, and I also started Lycanthropy and Other Chronic Illnesses, and I'm enjoying that one quite a lot.
And you've read our group, but you've read our buddy read. She read first. Never buddy read with this girl, Olivia. She's a nightmare. We were reading the second Percy Jackson Heroes of Olympus book, and there's me ploughing ahead, going, I'm going to read 80 pages a day, ploughing ahead. Madam decides to flip in, be slow, and then reads it all in one day.
It just sort of happened. I didn't mean to get behind, and then I was just listening to it, and then it ended.
Is it your first time reading the series?
No, I read it about 5 years ago, so I don't really remember half of the stuff that happens. And I was like, I want to reread it, and I'm definitely enjoying myself with it. It's very fun.
Nice.
Yeah. The Heroes of Olympus series is different, but it's really good. I think I liked it more. I'm liking it more than I like the Percy Jackson series. Have either of you two read it yet? The Heroes of Olympus series.
I've read the first one. I've just read the Percy Jackson series.
Oh, it's amazing. The Heroes of Olympus. If you like Percy Jackson, Heroes of Olympus is just.
I think it helps that they've aged up a little bit, and they're a little bit older, and there's more things happening, and they make more grown-up decisions rather than young child decisions, which is fair.
Yeah. Well, I did read Magnus Chase, and I really liked that, the Norse mythology ones.
I've not tried that series. Is it good?
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
That's a good sign. Okay. Alice is saying she hasn't started listening to the original yet. Don't worry, we're only on the 8th. It's still early days. Have you read any great disability books recently, Olivia or Simi? What sort of things have you guys read?
Do you want to start, Simi?
Yeah.
Sure. I've been doing... Last year I kind of did a bit of disability. I always kind of see it as I took myself to university. I read a bunch of disability research books to learn more about our history and our culture, because I didn't learn about that in school. So I just learned some incredible stories through that. And now I'm kind of doing a bit more fiction rather than non-fiction, which I feel like there needs to be more of. There's definitely more disability non-fiction, which I feel like also is created mostly for a non-disabled audience to educate them rather than for disabled people. So that's why the fiction is really important, to just share our stories in a way that isn't. It's always a learning lesson for non-disabled people.
Definitely feel like you're on that. Definitely. I would like to read more non-fiction. I've got Sitting Pretty to read by Rebecca something or another that someone recommended last year. The non-fiction side of it, but I think you're right. There aren't very many books with books that include disabilities but don't feel like it's bombarding you.
Yeah.
And telling you you've got to learn stuff. I totally get what you're saying on that. Definitely, I want to learn more because I think you're brilliant. The way you say about it's our community. You want to know our history, and I think we could really do with that, learning that, because people don't see that the disabled people. We are a community and we do support each other and we do have like things, and there is nothing better than talking to a fellow Spoonie or a fellow disabled person, because you actually get seen, and you get like, you don't feel like, oh god, here we go again, I've got to explain this.
Exactly. We are so powerful, but we live in a world that constantly is telling us that the way we're made is wrong and all the way we do things is like incorrect. When in reality, it's like beautiful, the different ways we do things. And it's not like wrong or incorrect to, I don't know, type with a pen in your mouth like I do instead of typing with your fingers. So when the disability community comes together and we like have our gifts, our unique talents, and we do it through disability culture and our art, it's beautiful, but the world just isn't interested in like exploring that side of diversity.
Definitely. I feel like I'm dying to get like because one of my old injuries that started playing up this last year. We talk about like writing with your pen with your mouth. Oh, I'm trying to find my little splint. But I have to, because of that, I have chronic pain in my wrist. I have a wrist support, and I cannot for the life of me find it. I will find it. But anyway, it doesn't allow writing to be comfortable, and trying to find a support that will help my wrist and help the pain, but making writing, because like my people at my work don't get my handwriting is just bad, because I can't, when my pain is so bad that I can't physically hold a pen, they don't get it. It's hard to explain to people that holding a pen isn't for a non-disabled person. I hate saying the word normality. It's like considered, writing is easy. Well, actually, no, it isn't. Not for everybody. And my son's, hopefully, we're hoping to get a diagnosis for him for dyspraxia, because he finds holding a pen hard. And that's another disability, even if it's, and he finds it very hard. And trying to get him to do exercises and trying to get the support there is really difficult. Hi, Chatty! Oh, looking at the comments, Katie said she hasn't finished anything, mate. Like I said, it's very early days. I just plough through. My mental health's not been great, so I've been reading loads, which is what I do. You all know that I like reading a lot. But yeah, Olivia, what sort of things have you been reading? Because I saw you put that YA book on there.
That's the one I read this month. Love from A to Z by S.K. Ali, which is a young adult book, which is about like these two Muslim characters who have their romance and everything. And one of them is quite an activist for Islamophobia, and the other one has MS, multiple sclerosis, which his mother passed away from, and now he's been diagnosed with. So he's kind of dealing with that and how to talk about it with his father, who's still grieving his mom as well.
That sounds interesting. You said it was quite good, but it's very YA, did you say?
It's good, but it is like, it's teenagers, so you have to be a fan of the YA age audience to enjoy it. But it was a good read. I whizzed through it quite quickly. Very readable.
Yeah, I'm reading. Like I said, I started the book Your Welcome Universe. Was this one of the ones one of you guys spoke to me about? It was by Whitney Gardner. I remember. I think Chatty might have recommended the site I found this for, because when I was looking for, this is the one with the person of POC book, and I think it's doing the POC rep quite well, which I was quite impressed by as well, because there's a lot of judgments, because the person of colour is sort of Indian kind of colouring, and then they're having racism in their like occupation, as well as the fact they're deaf. And I think that's portraying it really well. So even though it's a YA book, and like you say, it's a teenager's book, these people are like, 15, 16. It's showing quite a lot of greatness in it. And there's parts in it which I'm finding, as a fellow deaf person, like partially deaf, is really good, because they've got like the gap. So when this person is deaf and they can't hear everything you're saying, why have I never got like the pages right? But they cannot hear. They're hearing half the conversation because they haven't got a hearing aid or anything to help them. And it's got the little lines in the words that are missing, so I can't see it, which is typical because you never. There you go. So you've got like little bits there, and I don't know if you can see it very well on the page, but the person hears half the conversation, and they're including the words that they can't hear. So where you're actually trying to actually hear the person, and you're kind of imagining in it what you're saying. So it's quite good. It felt good to actually be that part of being seen on that. And I know obviously Katie's book was amazing, that the partially deaf character Secrets of Heartwood Hall. Love that book. And I'm not just saying that because Katie's our friend, but it was good. But I think, like you say about YA, you kind of got to be in the mood. You got to understand it is for a teenage audience.
Yeah. And also because you were talking about book with deaf representation, I'm reading a poetry collection by Raymond Antrobus, who's a Black British deaf poet, and it's really good. I've read some of his stuff before, but I really like how he kind of, as you said with that book where there's gaps where there's different listenings, in one of his collections he describes sounds that you can't hear with your ears, but as someone who's deaf, you kind of hear with your eyes. I don't know how to best describe it, but it was a really good poetry collection. I haven't really read anything like that.
Oh, sounds good. I'll have to look it out. You have to send me the link and I'll have to look it up. I'm not great with poetry, but I was saying in my video that's coming up on Friday, these guys, just letting you guys know in advance that on Friday that I'm doing about living with disabilities. And one of the things I think for me that the deaf side of the partially deaf side of me, I know I have got some hearing in my hearing ear, but one of the things is I lip read a lot, and I lip read, and I also use facial cues. So when people are smiling, it's very vital to do that. And when we obviously had the COVID times, we couldn't do that. It was really hard. And I was talking to my mum about it the other day, and she was like, yeah, in COVID times, it was a nightmare for us, for the deaf and partially deaf community, because we couldn't actually understand what people were saying. And the amount of guesswork, I work in opticians, and the amount of guesswork I had to do, horrible. But yeah, it was so it is interesting. And I just think, we could do with getting the rep up there, couldn't we, guys? Definitely get it.
I do think it's funny what you said about masks, though, because for me, as an autistic person who struggles to necessarily understand all of the expressions that people are making, I loved masks. I was like, great. I don't have to worry about what my face is doing, and I don't have to worry about what other people's faces are doing. So I was just secretly enjoying that for my part.
I love them too, to be honest. I actually bought a mask, was it 3 months before the pandemic? And my friends and stuff were teasing me about it, and then in a couple months everyone was wearing them. It was quite ironic.
Yeah, one of my friends actually was making them before it all became you had to wear them. I was like, what the hell?
It's a lucky coincidence or unlucky coincidence.
Yeah, people were I think it was obviously good for safety, but you tried. I think the one thing I found that the pandemic did was it made certain disabilities where everyone had to be different with it, and trying to get you have in my work I deal with people with sight loss, hearing loss. We have people in wheelchairs. We have people with varying different disabilities, and you had to kind of adapt the pandemic around that so that you could fit everyone in. And we work on up an upper floor, and the lift wasn't always working, and so you gotta be careful about the wheelchairs, getting the wheelchairs up, and making sure people have got enough space to move their wheelchairs around. And some people were just and one of the things I found, Simi, and I find it really frustrating in my job, is that people talk to the person pushing the wheelchair, and they were doing that even more, and not to the person in the chair. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to scream. Because and making assumptions about what people could do and what they couldn't do. It's nah, don't do that.
Yeah, it's a story of my life. It just always happens. And I still don't really understand why people just instantly assume if you're in a wheelchair you can't speak for yourself. It's just we're so othered, I think, that they just assume that, or they'd rather not. Maybe sometimes it causes them discomfort to look us in the eye or whatever. I just always find it to be really ridiculous.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? So when I was in the wheelchair after my accident, I was they kept talking to my mum, not me, and I was like, excuse me, who am I? Come on. And ever since then, it's totally changed the way I am. And also, they look down on you, and they're like, oh, you're little down it. No, I'm not. Just get down on my height. Do not do that. Because that's also quite demeaning, isn't it?
It is speaking slowly, or people act surprised when I read, or when I say that I work or anything like that. And I do get to a certain degree, and it's not because not being able to read or not being able to work is shameful, but it's just that the assumptions that everyone thinks they know exactly the kind of life I live. Like, I think there's a care home near where we live. And I get asked so many times, oh, do you live in that care home? Is this what your day-to-day life is like? And it's just this assumption that they just kind of know everything already. And that's not what my life is like.
No, you're quite an independent person, aren't you? From the way I see you when I see you do videos with Olivia, I've loved watching you two together. It's brilliant. You have like such a close, and that's great. Like the way you two are together, and yeah, you are fiercely independent and you're fiercely strong. You're like, I look up to you, I admire you so much because I think you've just got that strength and it's brilliant.
Thank you so much. It's really sweet to say. Yeah, no, it definitely took a lot of learning and a lot of adapting. I wasn't always like that, but it really comes with that acceptance. I feel like once you kind of, yeah, I guess I just kind of accepted that this was my body, this is the way that it was, and that it was kind of like, what can I do with it? And exploring and finding ways to swim and ways to create art and how to move around the house and everything like that. It's just, yeah, it takes a lot of adapting.
Do you two have fun living together, Olivia? Because I think you two, like, you can see Olivia, you know, you're definitely I love watching the way you guys are with each other and the closeness. But Olivia, do you find that as a sibling, you feel protective, or you know that Simi's like so strong? But how is it being like an advocate with her? Like,
well, I definitely know that Simi's so strong, but I definitely have the protective vibes. It's sometimes a bit hard to differ between being just an older sibling. You probably always feel protective of your younger one. I've only got one younger sibling, so very protective. But then, yeah, I guess since living together, because we lived together before and then went apart and then back to living together again, just seeing that Simi's become independent in ways that she wasn't before when she was like quite a bit younger than me and I was a bit older, and adapting to that and just being able to help the best way I can. A lot of it is things like when we are going somewhere together and they start talking to me, it's like, oh, why don't you ask her yourself? And things like that, which, yeah, lets Simi be the lead in the spaces where she's leading.
Definitely, you like 100%. You're definitely like. Other things I like shout out about is that I don't like it when they call disabled people like sufferers, or they make out that we're weak, and it's like, actually people with disabilities are actually 9 times out of 10 stronger than the people without, because we have to be.
I think that's a case for like a lot of people from like almost any minority group, because you face that discrimination and everything, and you just not more hardened, but you face more, so you're used to facing more, you know. At the end of the day, discrimination isn't great, but it does make you stronger in a certain sense of the word.
Yeah, do you have to be, because you have different battles, and I think we all like learned. I know, like, Kat, you've had different things come up now. Like you when you got your diagnosis, I thought it was admirable the way you shared it on your channel. I was remembering when you put down about your autism, and I remember thinking, wow, you're so amazing. And you did share it, and you did, like, I love the way you're such a dappy, klutzy person. You're just you, and you're brilliant because of that.
Yeah,
I'm saying as a friend, okay.
It was an interesting thing for me because I didn't know I was autistic until later in life. Like I got diagnosed when I was about 26, which was about 5 years ago now. Oh, it's just making me feel old. So I didn't realize for like the majority of my life, and I just thought like I was, you know, I thought I was kind of normal, a bit abnormal, but like for me that was just life and all that. And then I started to have like issues at work and like specific things that were coming up that were like things I had no control over. Like I used to work in an office, and there's just so much noise everywhere that people don't even realize is noise. I used to sit like across, there was like a hall in the way, and there's another set of desks on the other side, and there was this man that obsessively clicked his pen, and it drove me to absolute madness. And I had to keep emailing my boss. I was like, can you tell that man in the different team to stop clicking his pen, please? And they're like, you're insane. Why no one can even hear this random pen noise? And I'm like, but it was a thing. So I ended up looking into like autism and things like that, and trying to sort of understand myself a bit better. And then like once I got my diagnosis, I was like, oh cool, that's why I am who I am. And I kind of like I don't think I've ever been one of the people that wants to hide that, because I don't see anything wrong with that. It's just how my brain works. It's just that I'm going to act the way I am because my brain works slightly differently. Like, I'm not going to be an asshole or anything about that, or you know what I mean? Like, but
no, you're never like that.
I don't want to ever lie about like how I will react to things and how my brain processes things. So I don't know. I was just completely lost my train of thought.
No, but that's just you.
That happens all the time when I'm answering questions.
But you also live with chronic pain as well, don't you? As well, that's something we've obviously had in common. So like, the amount of times me and like Olivia, we do sort of chat. Like, I chat to you guys as well, and I've been able to chat to you all at different times. I love chatting to you, and then Simi, I would love to like chatting to you now on WhatsApp. It's brilliant. It's like I was just chatting more to Olivia, and Olivia, I'm like totally remembering like, so I wonder what Charlie said to you, because you would also speak to my sister. So it's like, right, okay, hi Amelia. And it's like chatting to you guys, but when like it's an amazing thing to be able to talk to you guys and think I don't actually have to explain when I'm overtired or when I've had a flare or when we've all just gone, I'm crashed now, I'm done. Like you guys last week when I was having the bad week, like I spoke to all three of you when I had that bad week last week, and I was so grateful for you guys. I really can't thank you all enough. Oh, they were probably about being late. And it was just great to be able to be seen. I had a really bad, like Kat knows, I had a really bad day at work the other day, and I've had I've now got different conditions. Since I've been diagnosed with my adenomyosis, I get ridiculously bad cramps, and it's like a whole new level. And one of the things that can relate to the Spoonies is that one of the guys I worked with was like, he's a lovely guy, but he said, for someone that's used to chronic pain, you're not very good at dealing with it when you get it. And I'm like, but this was like a whole new thing. And a new kind of pain that I didn't know what medication would work. And I'm not allowed so many different kinds of medication because I've been on so many different medications. And it's trying to find what works. And it is like hard, isn't it? You know? And they assume that because you're in pain all the time, you'll know what to do with it. And there's assumptions that they're just not right, are they? You know?
There's all different kinds of pain that needs to be handled in different kinds of ways. And no two pains are alike. So that's a big assumption being made there.
Yeah, it was very like. So I think that's why I like talking to people that's fellow Spoonies and fellow people that get it. That there's different pains and everything. Amelia's saying she's having a no spoon day, or Amelia's having a bad spoon day. She's fellow Spoonie sufferer, and she's having a dough day. And I think I've topped up my days. But like I was saying, it was it's trying to explain to people that there are different things and with different pains, and our spoons can be run out. We can run out. We can use up. We have less. And some days we have more. Some days we have less. But if we overdo it, don't we know it? And our bodies don't always work the way we want to work. Today was my day. Like these guys know, I went to Maidenhead of Marlow, and I love going down by the river. I love walking down by the river. I love going out in the nice sunshine. It's got to be nice weather, because otherwise I know that I'll suffer for it afterwards. But going down by the river, going into the charity shops, going into like being outside just does me the world of good, and it's replenished my spoons big time. But I was sensible because I knew I'd need spoons for tonight for like chatting, because we do use up spoons even chatting and socialising, and I knew that I had used up loads earlier. I had a break in the middle. I didn't go for a walk like I was going to do, and I was sensible because I know that if I wasn't, I would be a bit daft, wouldn't I?
Yeah,
but we all have to.
I had a nap before we came on here. I just had a lie down for an hour because I was like, I have had a long day at work, and I just think I need a nap before we come on and talk. Let's just recoup some spoons. It'll be good.
What kind of things do you guys use that replenish your spoons and everything, that make you cheer you up when you're having a bad day? Simi, what's your thing that's your thing to cheer you up, sort of thing, when you're having a bad day?
That's a good question. That's maybe, because I think a lot of the things that I do are actually not good for me. I watch a video or a show and then end up just binging that and then feel worse afterwards. But I think reading is one that I can do that I won't feel really bad about afterwards. So, reading.
Reading's always a good one. And Olivia, you do your yoga, don't you? And you're amazing at doing all that sort of stuff.
Yoga is definitely my key thing. I think early mornings where it's just me by myself, because Simi is not an early morning person, is like very replenishing. Yeah, it's just time to myself doing some yoga.
Oh, that's brilliant. I'm thinking about trying to do the walking workouts that I've seen online and doing something like that to kind of get my heart pumping and trying to get some energy into myself. Like reboot, try and do some walking workouts. But I don't know.
Movement can be good.
That's what I was thinking. I love going for walks. For me, it's going for walks. Going outside, feeling the fresh air, like you say. But there are days when you can and there are days you can't. But apart from like Kat, I know you've got beautiful areas. You've done vlogging around where you are. You've got beautiful areas around where you live, haven't you?
Yeah, there's a canal quite nearby, and I really like walking by the canal because I've just like my family's always been. I had like a connection to like a canal because my grandparents used to have a canal boat, and it was like family holiday type thing when I was younger. And I used to walk there a lot. I started doing it around when the pandemic happened, and then a year and a half ago, like when I started getting this chronic pain, I've just really not been able to do it. I can walk about half an hour, as in there 15 minutes and back now, and that's all I can do now because my joints just can't take it. They can't take it. They give up on me. So rather than getting stranded randomly in the canal somewhere, I have to shorten my walks, even though that is like one of the things in exercise that I really like doing. I've found myself really struggling recently because I would really like to do more exercise. I just can't because every time I try, if I manage to do it for like, I'll do like an exercise one day and the next day, just dead. I can't get up, and like trying to get out of bed is painful. So it's just.
That's what we realised. And sometimes I used to do. God, I think it was like 6-7 years ago I did the couch to 5K. Now there's no way I'd be able to do that now. I'd be like shooting myself in the foot big time. So like this is why we say people read, because reading is a healthy pleasure that doesn't kill any joy. You know, you can read, and there's different ways of reading, isn't there? Like I love. Do any of you guys find ebooks, audiobooks? What other sort of forms of reading do you guys enjoy? I'm always intrigued. What do you like, Simi? What do you like? Like audiobooks, ebooks, physical? What's your preference?
My preference is physical, but I do also sometimes read on like my iPad, Kindle, and I've recently gotten into fanfic, which is on my laptop.
Oh, cool!
Nice.
You like fanfic, don't you, Kat?
I like fanfic. Yeah, I like a bit of fanfic. It's just the only thing that annoys me about it is that you can't log it on Goodreads. So if you're reading it, then it's just not there on Goodreads. And it should,
That's annoying.
Should have a fanfic version of Goodreads or Storygraph and just have it for that. We can all feel good about that.
Yeah. What are your fandoms that you read? Out of curiosity.
I don't necessarily want to admit to those.
That is fair. That is a very personal question.
No, I like I have like an obsession with the 1986 film Labyrinth. So I really like reading fanfiction about that. So
what about you, Simi? Are you ready to share yours? What's yours ones as well? I'm intrigued by you fanfic people. I don't know.
So yes, some embarrassing ones, but I guess my friend got me hooked on like Interview with the Vampire fanfic. It was a show that just came out 2 years ago.
Oh, that's cool.
And also Salmarellian fanfic. It's very nerdy.
Nothing's wrong with that. Olivia, what do you prefer? Like, do you like audiobooks, ebooks? I see obviously you read some things like you see on your channel, and I obsessively watch.
I read across all three of them. I think I do prefer physical book, but because of going into work, when I'm going into work, I'm reading on ebook, and then sometimes in the morning I listen to an audiobook. So I do use all three of them.
Wow. Yeah. I wish, because I've already got like a small phone. If I actually wonder if I actually had like a Kindle or anything like that, whether I'd use it, because I've got too many, like my bookshelves. I keep getting people judging me by how many bookshelves I've got and how many physical books I've got. need to do another count again, but I'm not going to do it at the moment. But I find because of the Kindle, because I can only read on my phone, and I'm getting older, I find that like reading on my phone is harder. So I do like audiobooks sometimes, but I can go through a stage where sometimes I like audiobooks, and other times when I'm not watching YouTube, which is what I do a lot on my phone, obsessively watching all my friends and stuff. If I'm not watching YouTube, then sometimes I just want to listen to music.
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
I have like set albums, and I think you guys would probably, because you're all younger than me by quite a bit, you would laugh if you hear the kind of music that I like. I'm a sad person who likes people things like Take That and stuff, and 1980s.
Don't worry, I definitely think I can outdo you on embarrassing music for sure.
Oh, really? Do you sure?
Yes, I have. I really, I like kids' film music, so like the Barbie soundtracks and the Bratz soundtracks and the Monster High songs
cool.
and stuff.
Like, that is so cool. I like do you watch the Barbie film, Barbie movie?
Love them so much.
Yes! You like the adult Barbie movie? That was so cool. That's so cheesy, but I loved it.
I have to admit that I have never seen any of the Barbie films, the animated ones. I've never seen any of them.
I like the adult ones.
It's a shame.
I like the animated ones. The adult ones I've watched. You know the one with like Reese Duda? No, the one with that Margot Robbie.
I've seen that one, but like I feel like I see loads of stuff about the animated ones, and I feel like I would like them, and then I'm like, am I too old to watch them now?
No, they're classics for a reason. You got to go back to them.
I think Simi's right. Let's just go back to being a kid. I love like watching the Disney films and watching like, oh, I need to check when they're going to come on Netflix. I want them all to come on Netflix again because it makes my life easier. I don't want to look for DVDs and stuff. But yeah, you got to like kids stuff is just brilliant. It's like great. What do my kids like? Watch it. I think I also like The Greatest Showman.
I've never seen that either. Oh god, I'm terrible at watching.
Yes, I'm going to have to make you. You have to watch The Greatest Showman. It's one of the best because that has got great disability and it's got great like body. There is a song on it on The Greatest Showman, and I think This Is Me, and it's a song.
I have heard that song because it was like everywhere. So.
For me, it was the first. It was a lady who was curvier and she was brilliant, and she was shouting out, "This is me." And I think my sister Charlie was like, Charlie's amazing. Like she's like, even though she's younger than me, she's my version of Olivia. Olivia, she's my you, because even though she's younger than me by 2 years, she's so protective of me. It's unbelievable. And like, I was beating myself up because I went through I have body image problems in the fact that sometimes I like myself and sometimes I don't. And because I've got bullied a lot as a child, and having the glasses and I had big teeth and various other image, and I went from like 7 years ago, I lost loads of weight and I went down to like a size 8 to 10, and I was too much, and then I got too skinny, and I became obsessive because of my head injury. I do have an obsessive personality. It's because of the head injury, so it means that I can go too into things, and then I couldn't carry it on because it was making me I got too bad. I got borderline, got quite poorly with it. So then I went off, and then I kind of put a bit more, and because of my own chronic health, I've ended up putting a bit of weight on, and I get so angry at myself because I'm like, I can just cycle. You know what it's like? You don't feel great in yourself. And I remember one time I was feeling really low about myself, and Charlie was like, listen to this song. You have to hear this. And that song just made me feel like it's okay to be us. It doesn't matter what we look like, what our issues are. We are okay as me. This is me. And when I'm feeling like low about myself, and I'm feeling like I just, it's great to sort of shout that out and go, we are us. Our flaws make us who we are. Let's celebrate it. Like you say, don't hide behind the disabilities. Let's be proud of them and be proud of who we are. And that was like my cheesy song that just like, I love shouting it out. Find it on my phone all the time, and I'm like, just go for it. But yeah, that's me really bad.
It's really interesting that you love that film, and I'm so happy that song like had a big impact for you. I think, like personally, as someone who knows like a bit more about the history, The Greatest Showman, I really struggled to connect with that film. Yeah, which is like. But like, still, I feel like if it's just something that people enjoy, then that's okay. But it is like a gross I feel like such a downer here, but it is like pretty big misrepresentation of like a pretty important part of disability history. And like P.T. Bottom was like a really bad man and was really abusive towards a lot of the disabled people and
created that's not on then. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like the slurs of people with dwarfism and stuff like that. But that's the thing. People were like upset that they're like, hey, you took this really dark part of disability history and made it into something colorful and light and kind of rewrote it in a fun way. And people would be outraged if it was, I don't know, like something like Black history, or like people are being upset now about the Tattooist of Auschwitz show or film, I think that's just come out, that people are saying is misrepresenting the Holocaust, which obviously is terrible. But I think The Greatest Showman, because there's disability history, everyone was just like, it's fun. And it was like, it still is fun. And I still think that is a good film. But I also think it's important to remember that like P.T. Barnum did some really terrible things. So
I didn't know any of that. If I would have known, I'd probably maybe looking at it differently. Like we say, it is interesting to hear the disability story because people that were dwarfism, there was quite a lot of prejudice brought that, wasn't it? There was a real massive thing that you would the slurs on the dwarf people. It was really bad, wasn't it? I found that when I was reading A Sign of Her Own by Sarah Marsh for a tandem read along. I don't know if you guys were hearing it. That was historical fiction about deaf characters, and again, it portrays how the deaf community was very badly portrayed in the history before. Like, you were made to talk, you were made to, you weren't allowed to use sign language. You had to like be seen as non-deaf when you were deaf, and the prejudice towards that was really bad. I think I'd like to read more historical fiction about like the disabled community. I know. I'm sorry, just going to leave the screen for 2 seconds. Katie from Books and Things. Katie told me about this book that I'm going to be reading probably at the weekend, I think. Or it's a very big book. Now We Should Be Entirely Free. And Katie recommended this last year when I did Spoonies, and I didn't get it. And this apparently has blindness and sight loss in it. So this is going to be interesting to see how that kind of is portrayed, like from the historical side. And I've got my historical fiction wartime book that's got an amputee, and it's interesting how that's portrayed in the history, because I think we can learn stuff about it, isn't it, the community and stuff. So it will be interesting to read those books and see what it was like, and if these authors have portrayed it correctly, because like you say, it's historical fiction, does need to be done correctly, doesn't it?
Sure, yeah, but definitely don't still make that song represent like positive things. I don't want that to be like taken away or anything.
No, maybe I'll just listen to the songs and not the film. Like maybe I wouldn't do it that way now.
Do I do think it's interesting though about you saying that because it's a disability thing from the past that everyone was like, oh, it's fun. Do you think it's because people they're not as aware of any disability history as a whole? And like, whereas say take Tattooist of Auschwitz, people generally know about the Holocaust and things about that, and they have some semblance of an idea about it, so that they can make connections in their own heads about how accurate that is or not, but they just don't even think to make those connections with the disability community potentially.
Yeah, that is a really good point, and I think that is definitely true to like a certain extent. I did see some like disabled YouTubers and reviewers like raising awareness about The Greatest Showman, and quite a lot of people were saying like, yeah, but for those times, P.T. Barnum was like giving jobs to people who wouldn't ordinarily have them, and so like back in those days, he would be seen as kind of like a hero, and like, but still it's important to represent it like as it was without being like, he would have been a hero, so we could just show him that way. And definitely I think the writers of The Greatest Showman, they for sure had all the history and definitely decided to rewrite that completely in their own way. But I think there are like a lot of rationalizing that audiences do when they discover the history of kind of being like, oh, that's bad, but then this, and but then that. But you were definitely right that the majority of people just don't know. And so that I definitely understand. And I feel like even when some people do know, it's this thing of, yeah, but, and then, yeah, kind of ignoring it.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting to like look at. Definitely find. I want you to like recommend it. Simi, please invest me some great channels to follow, please, with the disability channels on here, because it would be fascinating to get like more people, like to watch more different people and stuff. Because I find it really interesting to watch other people that get what I'm going through, so disabled like YouTubers, and I always hope that I'm a good advocate on my channel, and that's something that's why I do this readathon. That's why I do what I do and share my stories and stuff. And I find it like really nerve-wracking. So I'm looking at these people are written on the comments. So like Amelia Reeves, she's learned what the real story behind the Greatest Showman from Jane Campbell. So Jen knows about it apparently as well, and she's learned about that. And we've just also got other people that are talking about the books that they're reading. So we've got great middle grade. Chatty likes Colcart apparently is a good middle grade, because you're really good on middle grade ones as well, Olivia, aren't you? Apparently, yes. Colcart's got some middle grade fantasy in it. We've talked about middle grade fantasy before, so I think that's one. Have many people read the group book? My brain has gone. The Secret of Haven Point yet?
I have to admit that I haven't read it yet. Like I'm saving it for a bit later because middle grade isn't something I normally read. I tend to I wanted to space it out so I didn't get in like a weird headspace about it. I don't know. Sometimes if I read too many of something that I don't typically read, then I go a bit funny on it, and I don't want it to affect my reading of the book.
That's right.
So I was like, I'm going to leave it till a bit later on. But then I'm like, I will read it. It will happen.
I think I will say for everyone that has not read it, we did choose a good group book because it's going on my favourites for the year. And I think, Simi, some of the things I think you'll like as well as Olivia, you'll like it as well. I don't know if you've read it, Olivia. I can't remember if you have or not.
No.
I think Simi, it's really good because the way it does the disability rep in it doesn't focus on people's disabilities. It mentions it in briefly, but it doesn't focus on it, if that makes sense. So So you've got you've got a blind person, you've got characters in wheelchairs, you've got people that's blind, deaf, you've got someone with chronic pain in it as well. You've got some dwarfism, and it's done all mingled in, but it's not done so it's focusing on the disabilities, and it's showing how people can have disabilities and still be able to do everything. Yeah, they do it differently, but they still do it. And I think for me, I found out about that book partly because I think Chatty notes from Jack from Spread Bookjoy, who's one of my absolute best friends. She recommended it, and she was so good. And I think I put a community post about the fact that it talks like scars, and I've got a very big scar on my knee, a skin graft, because of my car accident. And sometimes that pain gets worse because that's also the area where a lot of my chronic knee pain is. But it talks about how these scars make us who you are, and it's nothing to be afraid of. So I think that's a really good book. I've got another book. I think Chatty's recommending me a book that I'm going to be reading in the second half of the month, which I'll share in my wrap-up part 1. Because you know how I do the thing. I share my books that I'm adding to the TBR in the second half. But I have saved some books for the second half. I have saved some of my Spoonies books. So I think for the second half, I'm going to be reading Tomorrow, because Jack didn't read that. I think other people have read that. Ross from Scally Dangly about the books has read that. And I think I'm also saving. I think that might be the only Spoonies book I'm saving. I'm not sure yet. I'm also going to read another Heather Morris book, another war book, so I don't know quite yet. But I do want to read the more middle grade things. Well, we'll actually say there's one of the books I bought today, because I did say that I've obviously been buying books. I've got more books about Nazi, so we'll talk about that. And I've got more goodbye kind of ones of this. And where is the one that I have? For the life of me, I've got one of these books that I bought. I did buy way too many books, which I'll be showing you in my blog. Yes, I know, Kat, you're laughing at me. I know you like this. Kat doesn't need this. She's reads my mind. Oh, it's so funny.
It wouldn't be a trip for you if you didn't come back with at least a handful of books. So
this one talks about scars. So I'm wondering if this one, the Rowan Coleman one, talks about scars. But I can't remember if that one. Why, for the life of me, can I know? I can't find which one it is, but I did buy one of them that's got disability rep. And if you're still around, I kind of bought another Abby Elphinstone one. I haven't even read the first one yet, but I bought the second one because it was in the series. Then I bought another kind of Victor. Yeah, I just bought way too many books. But hey ho, that's me. We all do this. Oh, okay, hang on a minute. What's going on? Amelia puts here, that she put a spoon. If any of you guys have got the Storygraph, she put a reading challenge on Storygraph. I think I mentioned it on one of my community posts, but I've joined that and It's really interesting. So you can tick off what you're reading for that. You tick off what you're reading for the readathon. And just doing that. Emily, I'm loving Emily. Badger is my favourite one I bought. Oh yeah, Chatty's loving the. You will love it, Kat. Anyone that likes middle grade, and I think it's middle grade fantasy done in a really good way. So it doesn't feel, I think you talk about this, Olivia, and I don't know if you find it as well. Any of you find it. Middle grade has to be done well. It has to be done so that, and also YA, that it is aimed at the middle grade audience, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like it's something that adults can read. People of all ages can read. And I think that group book was definitely done like that. Oh yeah, Chatty's put, just realised I have not liked this video. Don't forget to like the live. I forget to. I'm getting better. I forgot to tell everyone to like this video if you're watching it, but if you do, like it, it's great.
Yeah.
We're able to do this without. It's lovely chatting to you guys. Like I said, it is great, the community, and I think you guys are all amazing. And I think, Kira's here. Hi, Kira. The next live, Kira's joining us, and a sneaky peek. I forgot to tell you this, Kat. Danny from Danny's Book World is joining us off the next live as well.
Very nice, very good.
We've got some other hosts already. I've got the second one. I don't want to share it until after we've kind of done this one, because I kind of didn't want to. You know me, I do things in my klutzy differently way. But it's been brilliant doing it with you guys. Like I said, Simi, I've watched Olivia since day dot, I think, haven't we, Olivia? I think I've watched you since I joined BookTube.
Oh wow, it's been so long already.
It's 5 years! 5 years I've probably been
watching. I think
it's probably about 4 years I've been watching you at least.
Yeah.
And Kat was about the same sort of time, I think, Kat, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know. It turns out I've been going for 7 years. Turns out today is my BookTube anniversary.
Congratulations.
Yes.
It's been a long time, but it's still here.
So you joined 2 years before me, but like,
I had a very different channel when I started. It was still a BookTube channel, but I was doing it with a friend, and then I wasn't doing it with a friend, and because schedules are really hard. Like doing stuff with other people is really difficult on a regular basis. And so my whole channel sort of changed. And to be honest, it's probably a good job you didn't know me in those first 2 years, because me talking to camera, it's a struggle. It was really a struggle when I started. I wasn't very good at it, and to be honest, I'm still not great. You should actually see how much I have to edit. No, I have to edit so much in my videos, because I think I talk really fast, and then when I look at it, my words, they just get muddled and they don't come out the way that I'm thinking them in my brain. So I'm just like, why did I say it like that? Let me say again. So.
I kind of envy you two, because I can't edit. I only have a phone. I don't have a computer. So this is me. I'm seriously, Timmy. I'm like, these guys know. I'm technophobe. I do not do anything technical at all. I'm useless. So hardly any of my videos are script. Hardly any of them are planned. They kind of have like notes, and that's about it. I don't edit. I've only just recently, like the last year or so, learned how to do vlogging. So learned how to put the clips together. But I don't know how to put music over the top of the quiet bits. So my videos are not like neat and tidy. They are just a complete hashtag of what I make. But people still seem to like me. It's just don't get it. It's like I can't edit. So if I do rumble and mumble, then it's me.
And I think all of what you guys do, I really look up to and find amazing, because I just think any kind of like camera work at all that's off the top of my head is just off the table for me. But you guys, every time you speak, you could just see the passion and the joy in what you do, and it is really incredible.
Thank you, darling. That's lovely. Thank you.
I mean, you say that, but you perform on stage, so...
Yeah, exactly. I see that. I see you do that.
I do, yeah. I mean, I could do things on camera and on stage and stuff, but it has to be like, I've practiced the script for weeks. Like anything that's off the top of my head, that's not happening for me.
You do brilliantly. That's amazing. Like, and do you talk in front of other people as well? You do other stuff as well. You do.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I do. Yeah, I do like public speaking and things like that. It's kind of funny because it's when I'm really see myself as like an introvert, as like a shy person in social situations. But then like if I get on the stage or in front of like hundreds of people, I feel like that's when I can actually relax and be myself. And that's when most people are like afraid to do things.
You're amazing like that. People say, because I think like people wonder how we can, us YouTubers can be good on here, and we can like we can record ourselves and we can do it, and they expect us to be sociable and confident. And I remember like when I first met everyone, like these guys, like I met Olivia, and when I met the people at the I think Katie's book launch was the first time I met a lot of my booktube friends, and I remember cacking myself, like I was ridiculously nervous, like oh my god, to even get there. Like I had met like the smaller group of friends, so like my Waffle Girls, so I'd met like Alice and Jem and Jack and like that lot. And obviously I was going there with my sister, so that kind of like I had the sister thing, which was amazing. Like without Charlie, God knows what would have happened. But I remember being so petrified because I'd watched Olivia, I'd watched Katie, I'd watched all these people for like years, and I'd like chatted to them in the comments and but I was petrified because I looked up to you guys so much, like you bigger channels and you bigger, and I remember being so nervous. But actually, like people are really nice, and you're not just you're not just the people that you are what you see on the TV. You're actually just as lovely in real life. And I remember just being so happy. And I remember even that day, like the first day I met these guys at the booktube, I had a panic attack. Olivia, you were with me at the time, I remember. And we'd gone from Katie's book launch and we were going to go to the pub. And I remember the chronic pain was bad, and I remember having a really bad pain day. And I had a full-blown panic attack when we got to the pub because it was so crowded, and my disabilities, I'd been overstimmed because of my head. I do have like some autistic traits, and I'd been completely overwhelmed, and I was so scared. And I think Charlie left me with you, Olivia, and you and Leanne, and I remember you guys being so lovely. And it was still to this day, these kind people that I'd been friends with are actually just as lovely, if not lovelier in real life. And so for someone like me who's appears very confident and very like chatterboxy, I was so nervous because it is like we perform, don't we? So to do it on real life, to meet people is a whole different ball game. You use a lot of spoons, don't you?
Person, my biggest fear is because I have like face blindness, and I also don't I don't look at people's eyes that often. So when I'm meeting people that I've never met before, I'm like, oh God, what if I don't recognize them? It's just a horrible fear. So that's why I'm terrified of meeting people when I don't do it very often. So
isn't it? I think I admire people that do this. I think we've all got our own disabilities, and I think we're all strong in our own ways, and we all do things. Like you work in publishing, like I just love like hearing the kind of things you do. Oh my God, I would love to work in books. I do one day a week in a charity shop, and that's dangerous enough. I don't know how people work in publishing and don't buy so many books.
There's a lot of book resisting, although sometimes it can be like, I'm not sure how these books got here, which is why I'm always grateful when I'm doing an unhaul and people are like, oh, I would like this book. I'm like, yes, it's going somewhere where it can find a new home.
It's brilliant. I love it. I'm looking forward to my book deals. And I'm like so excited. I need to do more of the same. I've got I'm useless at remembering to send parcels. I've got parcels. I've got a book that I put by the cat for ages. And I need to go up a bomb and send it, but I have a slight fear of the post office. I'm sorry.
I can actually relate to that, which is why.
Go ahead.
So I was just saying it can be so difficult to send things. So I always do the thing where you can get it picked up from your house, so I don't have to leave.
I need to look into that. Is it easy to do?
You can do on their website. It's really changed. Like before, I used to not send my books out just because going to the post office it's heavy and it's such a trek and it's time. But now they can pick it up from your house. So I was like, finally, accessibility.
Do you literally just go onto the post office website and do it that way? Yeah,
Royal Mail, and you can send an item and then arrange for them to collect it, and you don't have to print anything. They can bring it for you as well.
I'm so doing that. Okay, that's going to make my life easier. Chris better watch out. That's going to be spending. You guys, Cat, watch out. You get loads of books saved.
Oh my god.
Olivia, I'll send you one. You guys, you two are going to have to watch out. And Simi, if you see any books, I'll let you guys know. If you ever see books that you like on my channel that I'm unhauling, I need to do what you do and share it on like Instagram, because that would probably be a good way of doing it, because I have piles of books and I've got like some full price books that I want to get rid of, but I don't want to charity shop them. Yes, Alice, I know you always do that as well. Alice is sensible like that and does that.
My charity shop once told me to stop bringing books. They're like, we've got enough now, thanks. And I was like,
my charity shop keeps telling me to stop giving them like loads of books and only do one at a time.
Yeah, they were like, we don't need 3 full giant reusable Asda bags worth of books, thank you. Please come again another day.
But we don't have enough room on our shelves to keep them all, do we, guys? Come on.
No, I mean, they had been sitting in my cupboard for like 3 years, because I meant to unhaul them, and then I had like a fear of taking them to the charity shop, so then I didn't for ages, and then I took them there, and then they were like, no, stop. So I was like,
I think I'm going to try and take some tomorrow. I'm working at the Baz Books tomorrow, and I'm going to take some. But again, for me, it's carrying it, because I don't drive, so I'd have to physically walk to carry them, and I've got to do other stuff. And I may have also got a Waterstones book that I need to kind of collect. It's not my fault, the Waterstones book that I'm collecting. It is a new release. It's new out in paperback that I've kind of got to get on payday. And I think it's one of the ones that one of you girls has talked about. And where is it? It's the next one in the Ella D. Harper series. You know the last one in the Ella D. Harper series? The Daughter of Fortuna. That was... I can't remember who... I never remember who recommends it, but yeah, it's the last one in that series, and it's just coming out in paperback, and I've got the second one. I've waited all like a year to read the second one, just in case it ends on a cliffhanger. Mm-hmm. Because like I hate it when books end on cliffhangers and you don't have the next one to read straight away.
Very relatable.
Very bad. Like the Amari book just killed me. The second one in the Amari series.
Like, we have a cat.
Ah!
Say hello. He doesn't want to be cuddled right now, but this is Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper's
cute. Wow, he's big.
Yeah, Charlotte from Courtney Reeds. It was her. Thank you, Kira. Charlotte saying Charlotte from Courtney Reeds was the one that was talking about the Daughter of Fortuna. And I can't watch her video because she's reviewed them all, and I can't watch it until after I've read the last 2 books. Because I didn't want to pick up the second one. I loved The Wolf Den. I didn't want to pick up the second one until I had the third one near. So I waited. So that's why it's coming into, I've got to pick it up. But yeah, I've got to physically carry the books, and I've got to get that. And I've also got Mia's, my eldest birthday stuff. Because it's my eldest birthday on next Thursday. And I've got to get all her birthday cards and banners. And even though she's 12, she's going to be 12. She still wants the banners and the balloons. And feel sorry for me, girls. I have 4 girls going to be sleeping in her room that night. Next Friday night.
Sleeping. Nobody's getting any sleep.
4 pre-teens upstairs.
Yeah, no sleep.
I think the gin might be needed. I don't drink very much because of my health conditions. I'm Raynaud's, and it doesn't match with chronic pain drinking. I think I may just sod it next week.
If there's a week to do, I think I'd understand that.
Yeah, I think I'm getting a big bottle of lemonade to mix with all the gins that I've got. I have a gin cupboard downstairs. Before I discovered that Raynaud's didn't match with my medication, it was yeah. I think several amounts of kids, and I've got it. Also, bear in mind, I've got to. We talk about spoons. I've got to work all day, work till 3, get home, have 3 of her friends sleeping over, which means I've got to put on a face, a mask, and put on the nice mum face, and not shout Mia shut up all the time, which is what I always thought I'm doing. And then go and cook them all pizzas and give them sugar with their I'm giving them chocolate that night. Yeah, Alice is saying good luck. You lot are going to be getting it in the waffle chat, or Kat's going to be getting it in the chat on the message with me on the WhatsApp group that night going, help me.
I'll get a message from you at about 2 a.m. going, they're still not asleep. It's still going. They're still asleep.
You lot, Simi and Olivia will be seeing pictures of me the next day going, oh, I'm not here. Kat's going to be getting me going, no, this is not happening. I'm not sleeping. But it's her birthday, and she tried to get like 7 of them sleeping in her room, and I was like, your room is not big enough for that. And my sanity would not cope with that. So my vlog, there might be some interesting vlog clips next week. But hey, we've all got to do what we've got to do, isn't it? But is there any books anyone's looking? Because obviously we're coming up to an hour, and I said about an hour. I've got an hour. I can have like an extra 5-10 minutes, but so I thought we'd start wrapping up the video and everything. But are there any books anyone's planning to read for the coming up in the next week or so until the next live? Any books anyone's really looking forward to? I'd love to hear what you're looking forward to. Simi, what are you looking? Is there any books you've got planned to read or anything, or do you not plan your reading?
I am planning to. I really hope to make my way down the list, because one of my first jobs I did was transcribing for the Chronically Ill book club, and
cool.
every month they colored another. They invited an author who wrote a book about chronic illness, and they had all these genres like fantasy, contemporary, and sci-fi. All sounded so cool, and I really want to because I watched so much footage of these authors talking about their books. I want to make my way down the list of all the videos I worked on while I worked for them, and kind of get those books in.
That sounds cool. So I really want you to send me recommendations. I'm so intrigued. I really am. Olivia, I know you don't do set TBRs, but is there any books on your shelves you're thinking about, or?
Just trying to look at what I'm currently reading. I think I really don't plan anything.
I know.
But, gonna finish that poetry collection, which has been really good. I've been learning a lot of facts from it, even though it is poetry. That's been really insightful.
That's cool. That's intriguing. I'd love that. I love the way you don't plan it, though, Olivia. I love watching you, and you don't plan what you read, but you still do wrap ups, and you always have such interesting books that you do read. That's why I love watching you on Instagram. With your Instagram stories, you show what you're reading. I think that's quite a good way of doing it. But Kat, I know you've obviously got The Secret of Haven Point. The Secret of Haven Point now.
Yeah.
You've got some other books.
Yeah, I really am looking forward to reading The Unbroken, because that one's been it's been on my Audible for ages, and I've just been I avoid bigger books sometimes, because when I see that it's I think it's 18 and a half hours or something like that. And then when it gets to near 20 hours, I go, oh, that's a long book. That's going to take me a long time. And I'm really happy to have a reason to just push past my own weird feelings about long books and actually read this one, because it's been one I've been looking forward to, because at first I didn't know it had disability rep in it, and I was looking forward to it because I knew it had queer rep in it, and I was like, oh, this looks really cool. And I don't know, and I'm just really excited to read it finally, because it's been in the periphery for so long. So
I think for me it's got to be Tomorrow, because everyone raved about it last year. It was one that was on all the prize lists and stuff, I think. And it was one that people raved at. I know Alice talked about it last year. Alice loved it last year. So I've kind of been saving it. And also Angela is reading it in the second half of the month. Angela's reading off my shelf. She's reading it in the second half of the month. So we might actually chat about it a little bit. But apparently the only thing that's making me a bit nervous is that it's got a car crash in it. And that was obviously how a lot of my injuries happened, was because of a car crash. So I'm slightly concerned that might set me off with some triggers. Is Alice... Alice has finished 2 library books. She might start the bookshop book by Jane Campbell. Oh yeah, Jane Campbell. Yeah, I read the bookshop book. I read that last year. I think it's really good. I love books on books. Books about books. Where is it? I think there was one book. Story. This one's got the hidden storyteller. It's got storyteller in it. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think that's the one I kind of have saved my page 2, which everyone knows I'm a cheesy, I love the contemporary literature, and I've got page 2's latest book, 7 Summers, which has got sprayed edges, so I'm saving that for the second half of the month, because I know it'll be 5 stars, and I know that author is makes me happy. So that's my one. But I've also got my Heather Morris one, because I wanted to pick it up, because I wanted to see if she's not done this one set in Auschwitz. This one's set at the historical fiction time, but it's set in a different country. Oh, she just started it. Oh, yeah, you need to. Yeah, Angela, it's okay. I will probably read it very fast. Tomorrow. But I have got a Lucy Score book. I've got some different books. But I've also got a very depressing book, Test of the Devils, which I'm reading. But my book that I got from the library that was because of Cat was I've got 6 of Crows. And that's the one that I'm nervous, but I hope I like, because that was all over BookTube a few years ago. Probably quite a few years ago, actually, pre-pandemic.
One of my favorite books.
Is it? Oh, brilliant! That's a good sign. I'm planning to read it over the weekend. That's because it's a big book, but it's one that I could probably. Is it safe for me to read at night? Is it going to scare me, or like as I'm a giant wimp? Is that going to scare me?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, that's good that you said that. That's made me like really excited. I'm kind of like, I want to get my library books read, because I did see that in the library, and I thought, because I've heard mixed reviews on Six of Crows, some of my waffle groups have liked it and some haven't. And just being cheeky, she said everyone reads slower than M's, and just gonna get these girls. These are like bane of my life.
Not wrong though.
No, they're not. But you know, this is see my community, Simi. You see these girls that I part with. You know, the insults just go. I'm joking. They're my best friends. But yeah, I didn't want to buy it until like I knew that I'd like it, and I know that I can get it second hand. If I like it, I can get it second hand for quite cheap on AV Books. So if I like it, I can get that and then get the second one. Because it's duology, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And I've heard it was like matched for the readathon pretty well. So, and Angela's got it on her shelf. And you just put "Love You, Ems." I love them. That's brilliant. I am so blessed. But thank you all so much for doing this video. Thank you for joining me, Simi. Thank you for telling us your story. Thank you, Olivia. You're amazing. Obviously, Kat, you know, you're brilliant, and we'll be hosting the next one together. And like, I think it's 2 weeks tomorrow we're doing the next one. And if you girls want to come and watch, you can. That'd be great. I know you've got some busy times ahead, but it's been amazing. Thank you all for doing this readathon. Do we do an emoji at the end of the video if people have got to the end of this video and they're watching it? Olivia, can someone else pick an emoji? Go on, pick an emoji for if you get to the end of the video.
I don't know what emojis are.
It's Kat finding the emoji for the video.
So I just pick a random one?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna scroll random emojis in. Okay. So like a lettuce. Like a lettuce leaf.
So if you got to the end of this video, put a lettuce leaf in the comments down below. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, not subscribe. Bring on all of our diggities. Literally, if you're not subscribed to Olivia and Kat, who the hell are you? These girls are absolutely my brilliant best friends ever. I love them all. So, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for those of us who've joined us on the live. Thank you to the girls. It's been great, and I'll end the live, and then we're going to chat, some up afterwards. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There you go. End stream.